Monsters are awesome, magic items are awesome, and when I'm trying to think of new ways to make cool magic items, I often turn to monsters. In fact, if you're not, what's wrong with you, you crazy? Because it's like a part of the thing. I killed the big monster. Don't I get it to turn its eye into a laser gun? So when I heard about this thing called Kraken Week, where a bunch of D&D YouTubers were making videos all about underwater stuff, I thought, cool, I'll make a video about turning a bunch of monsters into fun magic items. And I've been a little obsessed with hats lately, so we're making hats. And since I'm not exactly sure where you're at in your campaign, and I don't want to leave anybody in the lurch, we are going to be doing a common item, an uncommon item, a rare item, a very rare item, a legendary item, and dare I say, even an artifact, all inspired by D&D Aquatic Monsters. The monster we'll be using to inspire our common magic item is none other than the Quipper, aka
Quipper.
Very nice. Take a look at that little glorious fiend. Oof magoof. Somebody's gotta go to the dentist, and it ain't this guy. Look at them teeth, bold and pearly. Seriously though, the Quipper does not have a lot going on in its stat block. It is mostly just a little fish. Now, it does have the blood frenzy trait, but we're not going to be using that because, I don't want to. I don't really think it fits a common magic item. So let's lean into something a little bit more in the vibe. I present to you the Quipper Cap. Behold, a common magic item. It does require attunement. I know, common magic items that require attunement. Whoa, there. Calm down, but trust me, it's worth it. This scaly swimming cap is adorned with the visage of a Quipper. While wearing this cap, you gain the ability to communicate simple ideas with Quippers and swarms of Quippers. They understand the meaning of your words, and you can understand them in turn. Additionally, Quippers and swarms of Quippers have disadvantage on any wisdom, insight, or intelligence investigation checks made to determine whether or not you are a Quipper. So, if you do happen to find yourself in a situation where you are amongst a swarm of Quippers or just some Quippers hanging out and you get into a little bit of a conversation, it is not unlikely that they might be convinced that you are, in fact, a Quipper. Is it good? I don't know. It's a common magic item. Does it need to be good? I think it's fun. That's mostly what matters with common magic items. Fun and occasionally good. Well, often not good. Often nothing. The Quipper Cap. Yeah, woo, Quipper Cap. Moving on from the world of common magical hats, let us embark on uncommon magical hats. This one will be inspired by none other than one of my favorite D&D monsters, the Chuul, aka
Chuul.
Ah, yes, thank you, Matthew. Behold, glorious. It's like a lobster mixed with a shrimp mixed with a weird Cthulhu. It's just the best. It's sort of a puppy dog also. In fact, I love these monsters as guard dogs, specifically because of this crazy feature, Sense Magic. It's basically detect magic, but with a range of 120 feet, and it's just like always on. So whenever you're using this monster, you can create that situation of, if your players want to be extra sneaky, and this thing is guarding the monster's base, do you want to stay sneaky, or do you want to have your magic items? And I just like when stuff like that happens. It's a good monster, cool. It is a uncommon item, also requires attunement. That's going to be a trend as we move forward in the video. This three-cornered hat is inlaid with fragments of Chuul brains, carapace, and tentacles. As a bonus action, you can activate the Chapeau. While it is active, you gain the following benefits. You can sense magic within 60 feet of you as if you were under the effects of the detect magic spell, and you can read, speak, and understand deep speech. It remains active for 1 hour or until you end it early as a bonus action, and you can use this feature twice a day. Is it crazy? I don't think it's crazy. I'm gonna say so. I do really like this. I feel like deep speech is underutilized in our games as this ancient, cultish, spooky, evil stuff language. Chuul Chapeau. Okie dokie. Chuul. It's time to get serious. We're done with the low-tier magic items. We are now beyond the uncommon and into the realm of rare. Give me that good. And this hat is inspired by the water weird. Look at it. It's like a water elemental if it had like a really bad couple of months. It's like a meth head water elemental. We are going to be focusing on two aspects of the water weird for this magic item. They are invisible while fully immersed in water, which I love it. It's the best sneak attack, right? And their special constrict attack, which pulls people in. Water weird wig. Oh yeah, it's a wig. Get the costumes ready, boys. This semi-translucent wig always seems to flow, as if underwater. While wearing the wig and fully submerged in water, you can use your action to cast the invisibility spell on yourself at will. At will, friends. Not at John, not at Clarence, at will. The spell ends early if you are no longer fully submerged in water. Basically, if you're underwater, you can be invisible. But that's not all. When a creature you can see ends their turn within 10 feet of you, you can use your reaction to cause the wig to lash out. The target must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw, or they are pulled within 5 feet of you and grappled by the wig for 1 minute. Fair warning, this is not the only time grapple shenanigans are going to come up in these magic items. It turns out that a lot of aquatic creatures like to grapple. If the target does not have a swim speed, they are actually restrained. Ooh, so it's better against the landlubbers. And this ability is sort of infinite in use. Once you use this ability, you must fully submerge the wig in water for 1 hour before it can be used again. So basically, you're going to get to use this aspect of it once a fight, give or take, depending on how much water you have access to. Water weird. Water wig. It's one of those items that is like not that good if you aren't near water, and maybe a little too good if you are in water. So, you know, if you're going to use this one, just keep an eye on that. Speaking of a little too good, we are now done with the rare. Goodbye, rare. Who needs you? It's only very rare for these boys. I don't know what's going on tonight, guys. I'm rushing to get this video done. It's going to be a weird one. I think it'll be good. Speaking of weird ones, this next monster that's going to be inspiring our very rare item is the Deep Scion. Oh wait, forgot to do this. The Water Weird, aka
Water Weird.
Is that Marisha? Wait.
Water Weird.
It is. Okay. Anyway, Marisha, thanks. The Deep Scion, aka
Deep Scion.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Deep Scion. Ooh, look at it. Charming, glorious, sensual. These guys are basically spies. It's a fishy emissary that can mask itself as a creature of the land, causing shenanigans, etc. The main things we're going to focus on for this magic item are its ability to change its shape and this secondary ability, Psychic Screech. This is a very cool power. It does two things. One, it makes a big loud scream where everybody around you can hear it, and it potentially stuns creatures. But this second part, excuse me. This is where it gets juicy. When it uses its Psychic Scream in the water, it can telepathically transmit all of its memories from the past 24 hours to its master, regardless of distance, so long as it and its master are in the same body of water, which could be an ocean. Nice. How does that translate into a very rare hat? Well, it translates into the Deep Scion Derby, you silly goose. This hat looks rather dapper from afar. Up close, a keen observer might notice subtle shifting along the seams. The Derby has 6 charges. While wearing it, you can use your action to expend a charge to create one of the following effects. Friendly Face, 1 charge. You cast Alter Self, choosing between the aquatic adaptation or the change appearance options. Basically, you can make yourself be able to breathe underwater or on land, and you can make yourself look like other people. Next, we have Aquatic Communication. This is a boring name. I encourage you to change it if you decide to use this magic item in your own stuff, which, by the way, you can. There's a PDF in the video description that has all this stuff. Also, there's another link in the video description that's to the playlist of everybody's Kraken underwater themed stuff. So if you are like, cool, I have a bunch of these underwater hats, now I need an underwater campaign or a bunch of underwater monsters or some new underwater races or whatever, there's like a billion videos there. Anyway, let's keep going. Aquatic Communication. Yes, we know it's a boring title. We're moving on. 2 charges. you can cast the Sending spell. But alternatively, if both you and the target are in the same body of water, you can either regain 1 charge or expend an additional charge to transmit a memory of yours to the target. The memory must be no more than 10 minutes long and from within the past 24 hours. So normally you're just casting Sending. If you're in the same body of water as them, it can just be a lot cheaper, or you can direct message recordings from your brain to that target. And then last but certainly not least, Minor Psychic Screech. And this is basically the same as Psychic Screech, just again, toned down to be a little bit more reasonable for a player to have access to it. Deep Scion Derby. Classy. Look at that. Look at this classy guy. Can you just imagine a little derby on this guy's head? Oh, it would look so good. Friends, it's time to get raw serious. It's time to talk about legendary items. Be inspired by the one, the only, the really cool in flavor and kind of mediocre in stat block, the Bowleth. Bow, 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 bow. It's like a tadpole plus a catfish plus a cosmic horror. These guys are really cool. They have a bunch of powers that are interesting on paper, but don't actually often lead to that much excitement. That being said, I think we can pull a couple things out and get some real juicy juice out of this bad boy. The first thing we're gonna focus on, which I actually think is maybe my favorite aspect of the Bowleth stat block, is this ability called Probing Telepathy. If a creature communicates telepathically with the Bowleth learns that creature's greatest desires if the Bowleth can see the creature. So all it needs to do is get you to respond telepathically to it in communication for it to know what buttons it needs to push to get your goat. It's the Bowleth. This is another one, requires attunement. Big surprise. This bowler hat would be quite charming if not for the pulsing whispers. Whoa, that's not much flavor text. Yeah, well, I was running out of space on the page. It has 3 main features, and they do somewhat all tie together. Keep in mind, this is a legendary item, so we are going a little hectic with the power in some places, which you kind of want to do with a legendary item. Wait, I forgot. Oh my god, I forgot the most important part.
Bowleth.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Probing Telepathy. You gain telepathy to a range of 120 feet. Ooh. Additionally, whenever a creature engages in telepathic communication with you, which is not the greatest wording, but what I'm implying here is that they communicate back. You can use your reaction to probe their mind as if under the effects of the Detect Thoughts spell. You immediately learn their surface level thoughts and can choose to force them to make a DC 18 wisdom saving throw. On a failure, you can gain insight into its reasoning, its emotional state. It's basically you can deep dive detect thought, but either way, it cannot be targeted with this feature again for 24 hours. So it's a lot of mind reading all the time. We also get Dominate Mind. As an action, you can cast Dominate Monster through the hat. Doing so in this way does not require concentration. Ooh, don't underestimate the power of that. That's big. That basically means you can't break the spell. The spell is gonna be on for an hour unless someone dispels it or you do something ridiculous. Creatures whose minds you've successfully probed make this save at disadvantage. So if you have already popped a creature with your probing telepathy, that Dominate Mind is quite a lot easier. And last but certainly not least, we are getting our Psychic Drain. As a bonus action, you can deal 3d6 psychic damage to a creature you have charmed. That means charmed from something like Dominate Mind, or charmed from any other number of ways you can charm a creature in D&D. Once you deal that damage, you then gain temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt. This damage does not end spells early or trigger additional saving throws, such as from the Charm Person, Dominate Person, or Dominate Monster spell. If you ever take a look at most of these charm spells, most of them have a little tail at the end where it says that if you do something harmful to them or if they take damage, the spell either ends or they can re-attempt the save. When you deal damage to a creature you have charmed with this, they just take it and you just absorb it and get them temp HP. It's not healing, it's temp hit points. So in some circumstances, it's not nearly as good, but it's still quite good. I did not make it healing because I wanted you to be able to use this feature infinitely, and I was worried that infinite healing might be a little much, so we made it temp HP. It's still basically infinite temp HP, assuming that you got a way to charm somebody. And let's face it, you're a pretty charming feller. Now, last, but certainly not least, the beast that brought us all together. the not ideally built monster stat block that inevitably there's going to be at least 1 or 2 videos that help you fix that in this playlist. The Kraken. What is the thing that the Kraken does? Well, the main thing that it has going on is that it has a bunch of tentacles, and all of them can grapple and restrain you, and it can fling you around. So it just has a ridiculous amount of battlefield control that, for better or worse, can be really annoying to deal with. Oh wait, we forgot to do
Kraken.
Oh, Matthew. Ooh, ah. This is the Coif of the Kraken, an artifact. A close-fitted maroon cap affixed with bits of tendril fur scraps. Can you tell that I was getting a little tired by the end here? It has 3 main features. The first being tentacles. While wearing the coif, you can use its tentacles as 2 additional arms. Additional arms. These do not replace your regular arms. These are in addition. So you are now a 4-limbed creature if you were a 2-limbed creature. If you were a 4-limbed creature, you're now a 6-limbed creature. Math. These function identically to your normal arms. So you can use them to wield weapons, interact with things, magic items, whatever. They're arms, they work. However, they do come with a few additional benefits. Your reach with these arms is 30 feet. This is 30 feet for interacting with objects. This is 30 feet for picking locks. It's 30 feet for attempting to grapple creatures. It's 30 feet for making attacks. 30 feet. Speaking of attempting to grapple creatures, another fun thing about these tentacles is you gain a +5 bonus to any strength athletics checks made to grapple, shove, or climb with the tentacles. Now, when I first made this, I was going to make it advantage, but I opted to make it a flat modifier. It allows this feature to stack with other features that give you advantage on athletics checks. So if, for example, you are a Rune Knight fighter in your giant form, or you are any barbarian that is raging, or, I don't know, just a enlarged creature, somebody cast enlarge on you, this will stack with that, which I think is nice. I was playing around with making this a +10 bonus. I still think maybe it should be, but that feels a little crazy, but maybe it's not. If you try this item out and you're like, the +5 bonus is not enough to make this feel artifacty, make that a +10, and I think that is going to help a lot in that space. That's not all. There is one more little thing, which is that any melee attacks you make with the tentacles deal an additional 1d8 bludgeoning damage. So you are climbing, you're knocking people around, you're grappling people, you're doing all sorts of hectic stuff, but you are also a beast of the storm. Coif has 6 charges, and it regains them at dawn. Well, not all of them, but some of them. As an action, you can expend 1 or more charges to cast some of the following spells. And it's got a saving throw of 20 here. Ooh, big boy numbers. For 1 charge, you can cast Lightning Bolt. For 3 charges, you can cast Chain Lightning. Ooh. And for 5 charges, you can cast Control Weather. Chain Lightning is so much fun. People sleep on Chain Lightning, but if the things you're fighting are not resistant or immune to lightning damage, this thing melts battlefields. And then it does have this one more feature, which is Ink Cloud. When a creature targets you with an attack, as a reaction, you can have the hat excrete a noxious ink cloud in a 30-foot radius around you that remains until the end of your next turn. For creatures other than you, the area is heavily obscured, which means that they basically can't see through it, but you can. Additionally, any creature other than you that ends their turn in the area must succeed on a DC 20, again, we're doing that DC 20 artifact, let's go, DC 20 Constitution saving throw, or take 3d10 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a success. This is taken almost word for word from the Kraken stat block. I wasn't sure if I liked this damage. I could see doing more. You know what? I'm actually gonna change it right now. This is an artifact. Listen, let's just make it more. Who cares? Make it more. And you can use this feature 3 times a day. On one hand, I'm almost worried that it's not crazy enough to be an artifact. It's pretty small, but I think with the implications of the 30-foot reach, as well as just casually getting like a couple chain lightnings a day or whatever shenanigans you're gonna get off by essentially getting the Warlock Devil Sight Darkness combo a couple times a day, I think it levels out. I don't know. Let me know. Do you guys think this is strong enough to be an artifact, or am I lowballing you? Well, that's the artifact. So yeah, I made these magic items. All of them are usable and abusable right now. The PDF is in the video description. as well as a link to the full Kraken Week playlist. As a final note, the way that I made these, I just pulled up the monster stat blocks and took things that I thought were interesting and tried to translate them into something that a player could get access to. That's what all of these are. If you are somebody that is interested in writing homebrew or doing any sort of game design within D&D or other tabletop games, one of the easiest ways to start doing that is to reintegrate aspects of the game that are already there. Get out there, write some homebrew, or if you don't want to write homebrew, use this or other people's homebrew. Anyway, I'm Cinder. You're lovely. I'll see you later. Don't forget to eat dessert. Be good to each other. Love you. Bye.